What if I told you that one of the most powerful men who ever lived wrote a secret guide to life? I mean, a guide he never, ever wanted anyone else to read. Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today, the private, personal journal of the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius.
But look, to really get why his ideas are so powerful, you first have to understand the insane amount of pressure this guy was under. This wasn't some philosopher just chilling in an ivory tower thinking deep thoughts. No, this was a man right in the middle of a raging storm.
So he was supposed to be this perfect ruler, the philosopher king, the ultimate blend of wisdom and power. But the reality of his reign, it was anything but ideal. It was just one crisis after another, nonstop.
I mean, just take a look at the timeline of his reign. There was practically zero peace. The moment he gets the top job, boom, he's got war on two different fronts. He's dealing with constant invasions from Germanic tribes. Then, his own co-emperor, his adopted brother, dies. This wasn't some peaceful philosophical rule. He spent most of his time on the battlefield.
So that brings us to the big question, right? How in the world did he cope with all this? With the entire weight of an empire on his shoulders, surrounded by total chaos, how did he not just lose his mind, but also stay, a good person?
Well, the answer wasn't some brilliant military plan or a new law he passed. Nope, it was something he kept completely to himself, a secret practice he worked on every single day. So picture this, in those quiet moments between battles, probably sitting in a cold tent somewhere on the front lines, he would write. And he wasn't writing for us, for history, or for anybody else. He was writing for himself. It was a way to guide his own actions, to try and be a better person.
And get this really shows you how personal it was. He never called it Meditations. That's a title that came way later. His own title for it was simply To Myself. Just think about that. These were just his personal notes, little reminders and mental exercises to help him get through the day.
So, how did he do it? Well, he used a philosophy called Stoicism. The core idea is actually pretty simple. Stoicism says, look, the world is going to be unpredictable. Things will go wrong, people will be difficult. You can't control any of that. The only thing you have real control over is your own mind, how you choose to react to all that stuff.
And Marcus took this core idea and used it to build what he called an inner citadel, basically a fortress inside his own mind that no matter what chaos was happening outside, nothing could break through.
I absolutely love this metaphor he uses. He says your mind, when it's free from all those wild reactive emotions, is a fortress. It's like the ultimate safe house you can retreat to, a place where you're basically untouchable, no matter what's going on in the outside world.
So the main tool for building this fortress is super practical. It's called the dichotomy of control. You basically separate everything in life into two columns. In one column, you put all the stuff you can't control, what other people think, your reputation, the past, the future. And in the other column, you put the things you can control, your opinions, your actions, your judgments. The whole game is to pour all your energy into that second column and just learn to accept the first one. This means, according to Marcus, that no one can actually harm you. Only your reaction can harm you. Think about it. An insult doesn't hurt you. It's your judgment that it's insulting that causes the pain. A setback doesn't ruin your life. It's your opinion that you're ruined that does the real damage. And that is where your true power is. Okay, so this isn't just some dusty ancient philosophy, right? The stuff in Marcus's journal is packed with super practical exercises, real mental tools that we can use to deal with our own modern chaos, the stressful jobs, the complicated relationships, the constant low-level anxiety. So let's break down 3 of his most powerful exercises. Seriously, you can start using these like today. Okay, exercise 1. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds super pessimistic, right? But it's actually the opposite. This isn't about expecting the worst from people. It's about being prepared so you're not constantly shocked and angered by them. If you already anticipate that some people might be difficult, you can meet their behavior with a sense of calm and understanding instead of frustration and surprise. All right, exercise 2 is all about perspective. When you're feeling totally overwhelmed by some problem, try this. Zoom out. Way out. Imagine you're on a mountaintop, looking down at your city, then your country, then the whole planet from space. From that high up, how big does your problem really seem? It's not about pretending your troubles don't exist. It's about putting them in their proper place and shrinking their emotional power over you. And finally, exercise 3. This one's a classic Stoic idea, memento mori.
remember you will die. Now, that's not supposed to be morbid or depressing. It's meant to be motivating. Realizing that your time here is limited creates a sense of urgency. It cuts through all the noise and helps you focus on what actually matters. It pushes you to live every moment with real purpose.
So, here's the real secret, the main takeaway. Marcus Aurelius didn't find peace by conquering the world around him. He found it by working on himself, by training his own mind, day in and day out, with these little mental exercises he wrote down just for himself.
So let's end on this thought. What Marcus really teaches us is that our suffering doesn't usually come from events themselves, but from the stories we tell ourselves about those events. And that leaves a pretty powerful question for you to think about. What's one opinion, one story you tell yourself that's actually causing you harm? And what do you think would happen if you just chose to let it go?